You think your life is stuck because of fear, money, timing. But that's not it. You're blocked. Not by people, not by circumstance, by energy. Invisible, subtle, but suffocating. That tightness in your chest when you start something new. That fog in your mind when clarity is needed most. That tension in your gut every time you get close to breakthrough. It's not random. It's residue. Energetic scar tissue from choices you didn't make, words you didn't say, doors you didn't close. And it's been storing inside you like static in an overloaded circuit. But here's the truth. Blockages don't need months to be removed. They need one thing: interruption, a pattern breaker, a reset, something that cuts through the noise and says, not anymore. This video isn't motivational, it's operational. You'll learn the mechanism, the method, and in the next few minutes, you're going to feel something move. Not because I said so, because your energy is begging for it. What is an energetic blockage? Most people think an energetic blockage is some vague, spiritual fog. It's not. It's tension, stored emotion, compressed thought, repressed truth, crystallized in your nervous system. And it shows up in strange ways. You feel tired after doing nothing. You second-guess every decision, even the small ones. You replay old conversations like they're still happening. That's not overthinking. That's overflow. Energetic blockages form when your system absorbs more than it can release. Every time you swallow what you wanted to say, every time you obeyed when you should have resisted, every time you held on instead of letting go. That charge didn't leave you. It stayed, not in your mind, in your field. And when the charge becomes dense enough, your body starts to speak. I can't sleep. I feel heavy. Nothing is working. The truth, you're not broken. You're blocked. And the body's not attacking you. It's trying to get your attention. Before we remove it, we need to see it. So, now ask yourself, where do I feel the most stuck? Physically. Because that's where the truth is hiding. The language of energy. Energy doesn't speak English, doesn't speak Portuguese or any other language. It doesn't care about your goals, your schedule, or your affirmations. It speaks one language: sensation. When something feels off, that feeling is the message. But most people don't listen. They think the headache means dehydration. The gut tension means stress. The heaviness in the legs means fatigue. Sometimes yes, but often it's energy trying to exit and hitting a closed door. The body doesn't invent symptoms. It reports pressure. That ache in your shoulder isn't just physical. It could be a conversation you avoided 2 years ago. The weight in your chest might be grief you never had permission to express. You don't have to figure it out. You just have to feel it without editing it. The body translates your unconscious into physical signals. Tingling equals movement. Pressure equals density. Numbness equals disconnection. Random tears equals release. It's not random. It's your soul updating the software. The faster you stop analyzing and start noticing, the faster the energy begins to move. You're not broken. You're overloaded. Most people think something is wrong with them. They say, "Why can't I move forward? Why do I feel heavy all the time? Maybe I'm just not meant for more." But here's the truth. You're not broken. You're overloaded. Your system was built to process emotion, not store it. But when expression gets blocked, energy backs up. Imagine your body as a circuit board. Every time you bury a truth, suppress an emotion, swallow your instincts, you send another surge into the system. It doesn't disappear. It accumulates. Over time, this overload turns into decision fatigue, low vibrational patterns, emotional shutdown, physical pain with no cause. You didn't fail. You adapted. You had to stay quiet. You had to survive. You had to keep the peace. But now, that armor is too heavy, and you've outgrown the pain that created it. Removing energetic blockages doesn't mean fixing yourself. It means dropping the weight that was never yours to carry. No more over-identifying with tension. No more mistaking numbness for peace. You're not malfunctioning. You're remembering how to flow. The 4 hidden types of energetic blocks. Not all blockages feel the same. Some weigh you down. Others whisper. There are 4 hidden types of energetic blocks, each with its own pattern, its own silence. 1. Inherited emotional blocks. These aren't yours, but they live inside you. Passed through family, through silence, through trauma never spoken. You feel them when you react too hard to something small. It's not the trigger, it's the echo. 2. Mental loop blocks. You replay the same thoughts, the same scenarios. They don't just waste time, they anchor energy. Analysis becomes paralysis, and your system locks into a frozen timeline. 3. Relational resonance blocks. These are imprints left by who you've been around. Energetic entanglements. People you never forgave. People who never left energetically. You feel them in your field, long after they're gone. 4. Spiritual dormancy. This is subtle. A sense that something inside you is asleep, waiting. You feel disconnected from meaning, from intuition, from soul voice. But deep down, you know it's still there under the static. Here's the secret. These blocks don't need solving. They need permission to be felt, seen, expelled. Each one can be cleared. But first, you need to know which one is running the show. Why thinking about it makes it worse. You've probably tried to figure it out. Where did this block come from? Why do I keep feeling this? What am I missing? But here's the paradox. The more you think about the blockage, the more energy you feed it. Why? Because thought adds voltage, and blockages are made of trapped voltage. So every time you analyze it, obsess over it, try to understand it with logic, you're sending electricity into the very thing you're trying to dissolve. The mind wants closure, the body wants flow. And those two aren't always in agreement. Thinking isn't the villain. It's just the wrong tool for the job. You can't mentally untie a knot that was formed emotionally. You have to let the body do what it's built for. Release without narrative. That's why when people cry for no reason during breathwork, movement, or even in silence, it's not random. It's data leaving the system. And the less you name it, the faster it goes. So if you're stuck in loops, not of life, but of thought, don't dig deeper into the story. Drop into the signal. The body speaks energy. The mind speaks fear. And one of them is lying. The body stores what the mind can't handle. Your body is not just flesh and bone. It's an emotional archive, a spiritual hard drive. Every sigh you held in, every scream you swallowed, every truth you silenced, it didn't vanish. It downloaded. Right here, in your shoulders, in your neck, in your jaw, in the space between your ribs. People think trauma means catastrophe, but it can be subtle. It can be invisible. It can be what you didn't get, not just what happened. And your mind, it's a clever editor. It hides the overwhelm in folders labeled "I'm fine" or "It wasn't that bad." But the body, it never forgets. That tight hip isn't just poor posture. That sudden migraine isn't just dehydration. That lower back pain isn't just sitting too long. Sometimes they're unspoken words. Sometimes they're memories too loud to name. The nervous system stores what the conscious mind avoids. Because survival always takes priority over processing. But survival mode becomes prison mode if you never update the system. So here's the key. You don't need to remember the story to release the charge. The story is optional. The sensation is the signal. And when you trust the signal, the energy finally has permission to leave. The 3-minute breath reset. You don't need incense. You don't need mantras. You don't even need to know what the block is. You just need 3 minutes. Because breath is the remote control for your nervous system. And when done right, it doesn't just calm you. It releases charge. Here's the method. Step 1. Inhale deeply. 5 seconds. Through the nose. Belly expands, not chest. Imagine pulling in light, not just air. Why? You're charging the system consciously, bringing oxygen and focus to where energy is stagnant. Step 2. Hold the breath. 5 seconds. Suspend it. Feel the pressure. Focus on where you feel tightness in your body. Why? This moment of pause creates internal pressure. Energy starts to rise to the surface. Step 3. Exhale with sound. 7 seconds. Through the mouth. Make a sound. A sigh, a hum, a groan. Whatever wants to come out. Let your shoulders drop. Your jaw relax. Why? The sound carries the signal of release. It tells your body it's safe to let go. Repeat this cycle for 3 minutes. That's it. No chants, no visualizations, no cosmic instructions. Just air, tension, and release. You may feel lightheaded. You may cry. You may laugh, or feel absolutely nothing until later. That's normal, because the shift doesn't happen when you try. It happens when you surrender. 3 minutes a day. No tools, no excuses, and the dam breaks. Movement is memory leaving the body. You want to release energy? Then stop sitting still, because your body doesn't heal through thought. It heals through movement. Energy stagnates when you freeze, when you clench, when you sit in the same patterns, physically and emotionally. But here's what nobody tells you. That twitch in your hand, that impulse to stretch, that sudden need to pace around the room, that's not restlessness. That's memory trying to exit. Your body remembers more than you've lived in this lifetime. When you move intentionally, even for 5 minutes, you give that memory a route to release. It doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be perfect. Shake, stretch, sway, twist. Let your spine move like it's trying to rewrite itself. There's a reason trauma specialists use somatic work. Because the body bypasses language. It doesn't need you to explain the pain, just to let it move. Dance without music. Stretch without structure. Let your body speak in instinct, not instruction. Because when you give it space, it knows exactly how to detox the blockage you couldn't name. This isn't exercise, it's release choreography. And 1 minute of primal movement can undo years of energetic tension. Emotional vomiting is sacred. Nobody wants to cry in the middle of a breath session. Nobody wants to scream into a pillow or shake on the floor like something's coming loose. But sometimes, that's exactly what healing looks like. Not poetic, not pretty, raw, messy, undeniably human. This is what I call emotional vomiting. The moment your system gets so full of suppressed energy, it spits it out. Through tears, through shaking, through laughter that makes no sense, through rage that rises from nowhere. And here's what's wild. It doesn't need context. You don't need to know why it's happening. You just need to let it happen. Because when your nervous system finally feels safe enough to release, it won't ask for permission. That's not weakness. That's completion. And if you interrupt it, try to compose yourself, explain it, suppress it, you block the most sacred exit your energy has found in years. Let the breakdown come. Let the sobbing take over. Let the scream rip through your ribcage. It's not madness. It's evacuation. Your old self is being exorcised. And every drop of chaos leaving your system makes room for your clarity to return. This isn't the part you film. This is the part you survive. And when it's over, you'll feel light. Because something just left that was never meant to stay. Water as a reset button. When energy is blocked, your body gets dense. When your body gets dense, your field gets static. And when your field is full of static, nothing flows. That's where water steps in. Not as hydration, as a ritual reset. See, water doesn't just clean skin, it clears signal. Every major spiritual tradition uses water. Not because it's symbolic, but because it's conductive. It carries energy. It releases tension. It breaks cycles. That's why a shower after an argument feels like more than hygiene. That's why crying doesn't just express sadness. It removes it. Water doesn't ask you to explain. It just listens. And then it pulls. Try this. Run your hands under cold water when you feel foggy. Soak your feet in salt water when your chest is heavy. Take a slow shower and imagine every drop erasing something old. You don't need a ceremony. just intention. Let it flow down your spine, across your scalp, over your eyes. Let it carry every word you never said. Let it rinse the static you didn't know was buzzing inside you. It's not just water. It's memory in motion. And when you step out, you're not just clean. You're reset. The role of silence in release. You've tried talking it out. You've tried crying it out. You've tried figuring it out. But some energy, it only leaves when you stop chasing it. That's the power of silence. Silence isn't absence, it's amplification. Because when everything gets quiet, the signal becomes clear. Silence removes distraction, removes defense, removes the noise that kept you comfortable in the chaos. You'll start to hear things you've ignored for years. The hum in your chest, the ache in your left side, the sentence you never let finish inside your own head. That's not anxiety. That's recognition. Because silence doesn't trigger your nervous system. It reveals what was already there. It says, "Here, this, now listen." And when you stay long enough, past the discomfort, past the restlessness, you enter the release zone most people never reach. The zone where your tears come out with no memory attached. Your breath deepens without trying. And your body finally relaxes, not from exhaustion, but from permission. Silence is the space where your system unstitches itself. You don't need to do anything in it. Just be in it. Because in that nothingness, everything begins to leave. Clearing the space around you. You can do all the breath work in the world, but if the energy around you is heavy, you'll absorb it like a sponge. That's because environments store frequency. Rooms remember things. Objects hold stories. Walls echo what's never been said. You've felt it before. That tightness in a room after a fight. That calm when you walk into a space that's sacred. That strange heaviness in your own home, for no logical reason. It's not imagination, it's residue. And to release energetic blockages fully, you need to clear your field and your space. Try this. Open windows. Let stagnant energy leave. Burn something natural. Sage, Palo Santo, incense. The smoke binds with heavy energy and disperses it. Move objects, especially ones that haven't shifted in years. They hold patterns. Shifting them shifts the energy. Play resonant sound. Singing bowls. 432 hertz tones. Even silence with deep breath. Let sound recalibrate the walls. And the most powerful tool? Your intention. When you move through your space saying, "This no longer stays," the energy listens. Your aura doesn't end at your skin. It wraps the room. So clear the static. Shake off the dust. Move the field. And the field moves you. Because sometimes the block isn't inside your chest. It's in the corner behind you, still watching. Why some pain isn't yours. There's a type of heaviness that doesn't come from your story. It comes from your lineage. You're carrying energy, grief, fear, silence, shame, that was passed down like furniture no one wanted to claim. Your body is not just yours. It's a vault. Inside it, the panic your mother never released, the rage your father swallowed, the silence your ancestors wore like armor. This is ancestral residue, and it moves through generations until someone, you, decides to break the circuit. You've probably felt it. That grief that arrives with no memory. That fear of something that's never happened. That tension that doesn't match your life, but lives in your spine anyway. It's not your trauma, but it is your task. Not to carry it, but to end it. You don't need to know the full story to release it. You just need to be honest with the sensation. And when you breathe it out, you're not just healing yourself. You're healing the entire bloodline. You become the exit door, and the moment you open it, those who came before you and after you get to walk through. This isn't just personal, it's generational surgery. And you're the scalpel. The block behind, "I'm fine." Some blockages don't scream. They whisper. They don't come as panic, breakdowns, or obvious pain. They come as "I'm fine." Because "I'm fine" is the most socially acceptable lie the nervous system can produce. It's the shutdown mode, the silence that follows years of being unheard, the freeze response dressed as politeness. Energetic blockages often don't feel like tension. They feel like numbness. You stop crying. You stop asking. You stop expecting anything to change, so your system simulates balance. But here's the truth. Numb is not peace. Detachment is not healing. I'm fine is a spell, cast to avoid collapse, and the longer you hold it, the heavier it becomes. So, how do you break it? You speak. You move. You shake the stillness you've been calling safety. You stop performing stability and start telling the truth, even if your voice shakes when you do. Because sometimes, the block isn't rage, it's resignation. And that's the final layer. Not what hurt you, but what convinced you that silence was safer than release. When the body rejects its own story. You ever feel like your body is fighting itself? Tightness for no reason. Headaches that follow silence. A knot in your stomach when things are going well. That's not sabotage. It's a system trying to eject a story it no longer wants to carry. Because your body isn't just a memory keeper. It's a truth detector. And sometimes, it knows your current life isn't aligned with the life it remembers being possible. That mismatch, it creates pressure. Pressure shows up as fatigue after peace, panic after good news, random resistance to things you said you wanted. You're not lazy. You're overloaded with contradiction, and the body can't fake alignment. When your nervous system says no, but your mouth says yes, blockage forms. So what do? You stop forcing the mask. You let the body interrupt the narrative. You follow the tension, not to suppress it, but to translate it. Because every symptom has a message. Pain is unmet truth. Tension is misalignment. Numbness is refusal to feel what's still alive inside. You don't need another strategy. You need to stop gaslighting your own body. It's not overreacting. It's trying to purge the lie. Let it. The nervous system is the exit door. Forget the chakras for a moment. Forget rituals, frequencies, crystals. None of it matters if your nervous system doesn't feel safe enough to let go. Because the nervous system isn't just biological, it's spiritual infrastructure. It decides what gets processed, what gets stored, and what gets exiled so deep, it pretends to be gone. Energetic blockages don't just sit in your aura. They lodge into the body's most intelligent system, the one that controls your breath, your digestion, your fight or flight. Here's what most don't understand. You can't think your way out of a trauma the body is still holding, and you can't release energy through mindset if your system still believes it's not safe to release. That's why some people feel worse after meditating, why breathwork makes them dizzy, why stillness feels like drowning. Their system isn't ready, not because they're broken, but because their body still thinks it's protecting them. So the key: create felt safety. Anchor through physical touch, hand on chest, feet grounded. Breathe, not to fix, but to slow. Use phrases like, "It's safe now," not for the mind, but for the nerves. When the nervous system believes it won't be punished for letting go, it finally opens the door. And what leaves might be decades old. You don't need more tools. You need permission to soften. Because the exit was never blocked. It was just guarded. The clearing begins where the noise ends. You came here looking for a fix, a technique, a fast release. But what you found was a remembering. Blockages don't need force. They need honesty. They need stillness. They need presence. This wasn't a tutorial. It was a mirror. Not to show you the blockage, but to remind you, you are the breaker. Everything you need to clear the static, to move again, to breathe deeper than you've ever breathed, is already inside the version of you that's finally tired of carrying what isn't theirs. So from here, don't seek more answers. Don't open another tab. Don't distract your way back into density. Close your eyes, place your hand on your body, and say, It's safe to release. Then do it. Cry, breathe, shake, walk, speak, whatever your system asks for. The clearing isn't a moment, it's a choice. Now, you've made it. And when the archives open again, you'll feel it. Until next one. Astral Archives, transmission complete.